Did you discuss this with him before he made the decision?
Of course, it was the decision of the leadership of the party, leadership of the country.
Were they hard discussions?
Of course, we discussed each and every item in that resolution.
So what were the options?
Well, we had to deal with that resolution, and we are dealing with it.
And what do you think about the way that you are dealing with it?
Well, Mr. Blix and Mr. Baradi have just arrived in Baghdad, and the implementation will start from now on. We cannot judge what kind of implementation is going to happen, you see. For us, we said we will cooperate with Blix and with Baradei to reveal the truth.
The 8th of December, you have to present a declaration of what weapons of mass destruction
we don't have
possess.
Weapons of mass destruction, but we will declare all the information about the dual-use equipment. The dual-use
yes.
equipment could be used for this or that purpose. We will declare them if there's any new parts of them after 1998 and declare their activities during the past period.
Yes. When the inspectors were here last, between 91 and 98, there were a lot of disputing all the time. The inspectors thought that you did not cooperate, and you didn't think...
The inspectors at that time, they deliberately lied, they deliberately spied, they deliberately twisted the facts in order to prolong their stay and keep the sanctions in place. This is unjust, and this is biased, you see. You cannot have 100% cooperation in each and every case, in each and every time, you see. There are human faults, there are circumstances, difficult circumstances around you here or there, and you have to be reasonable, and you have to have a common sense judgment about the matter.
But ICAOs and the other inspectors all claim that the Iraqis did not cooperate. You admitted to having 52 ballistic missiles, and you had several hundred or more than that.
No, that's not correct. The presentation of ballistic missiles were correct. See, they stayed 7.5 years. What did they do during this long period? They inspected hundreds and thousands of sites. They interviewed hundreds of specialists. They took thousands and thousands of documentation. Isn't that cooperation? Yes, we will do our best, you see. We will do our best. We have our experience, and we will do our best in that.
So you will not try to hide anything?
We don't have anything to hide, you see. We don't have weapons of mass destruction at all. Therefore, we are not going to hide any weapons of mass destruction. Now, North Korea has declared that it has nuclear warheads, and they are not investigating North Korea. I was asked by the New York Times why. Said for 2 reasons. There is no oil in North Korea, and Israel does not exist in that part of the world. So because of oil and Israel, Iraq is being treated in a special hideous manner, you see.
Do you feel
under the flag of the United Nations and the flag of what's called the international community.
So what is your opinion about the UN?
Well, the UN now is in the hands of the United States.
So you have no respect for the UN?
No, we hope that the UN will live up to its charter and to the values it was created for, but the reality is that in the hands of the powerful, and mainly the United States, with the support of Britain.
And how do you view that possibility?
Well, the decision of war is not in our hands. It is in the hands of George Bush and Tony Blair. And they are repeating it every time, you see. Even after Resolution 1441, they are still talking war, preparing for war.
But if...
I don't know. I'm not sure that that will be the case. I hope so. I hope that we will avert the war, you see, but it's not in our hands. It's still in the hands of the aggressors.
When you've said?
Yes, yes. I have my guess in watching a number of statements made by members in the American Congress when they say, go and get him and do that. They are influenced by the very well-known movies you see when an American hero goes to a certain country, jumps to the roof of the palace and then gets the president or the king or the emir and catch him and put him in a helicopter and take him to an American warship. This is a movie, you see, it's not the reality. They couldn't do it in Vietnam, they couldn't do it in Afghanistan, and they cannot do it in Iraq.
But if there will be war, how do you think it's going to look?
We went through the war with the United States and its allies in 1991. It was real. So we have our experience. And we survived that war. And we would survive any other aggression.
But you will lose.
Of course. Nobody thinks that in a military conflict with the United States is going to win the military conflict, but we can win the political conflict.
How?
By showing that they are aggressors and they fail to achieve their political objectives. They can kill, they can destroy, yes, but they cannot destroy first the will of the Iraqi people. They cannot change the Iraqi government because the Iraqi government is not their own pawn, and it cannot be changed by remote control or by missiles or by warplanes. It could be changed by the Iraqi people, and the Iraqi people is against them. Iraqi people is going to fight them.
Of Saddam Hussein.
No, that's foolishness. That's foolishness. Our families do not leave their homeland, you see, because of threat. Our families remained in Iraq in the whole conflict with Iran for 8 years. Our families remained in Iraq during 1991. It's not the Iraqis who fled, the Iraqi leaders and their families who fled their country in times of difficulty. For security reasons.
What kind of security problems can it be with the
We are in a situation of war.
Okay. But anyway, I use my mobile as a watch, so I had to buy a new watch, and even in the watch
there is Saddam
the
Hussein.
President Saddam Hussein.
The Iraqi, you know, the culture in our part of the world is different from your culture. You usually do not love your leaders. In our country, people either love the leader or hate him. There is nothing in between. So Saddam Hussein is widely loved by the Iraqi people. You said that you found pictures at home. The police cannot impose the pictures of the President of the Republic at homes.
Saddam Hussein.
Yes, but they do it, as I said, they hang his portraits in their bedrooms. That's not official. That's not part of the education.
There were.
This is a demonstration of love and support which is unique.
But
and therefore, we were not surprised that everybody in the country voted for President Saddam Hussein. But I tell you frankly, those who do not like President Saddam Hussein and this government, they simply leave the country. And they are being paid very well, you see, when they leave. I said, you do not have a love relationship between you as a people and your leaders.
Listen.
Well, let them believe that, you see. They are enjoying it, you see. If they are enjoying it, let them do it. Let them enjoy it. I have known one Saddam Hussein in my life. It has originated from the United States and Britain. It does not originate in Sweden. Maybe you reflect what is being published in the New York Times, in the London Times, etc., etc. And you cannot have a different judgment about the person and the policies. So the Anglo-Saxon media is a very strong one, very powerful. So people receive those things and they do not judge them, scrutinize them. You cannot compete with the American media. The American media is biased. They invent stories. They invent stories that when a minister disagree with President Saddam Hussein would lift his gun and shoot him in the meeting of them. This is absurd. This is absurd. President Saddam Hussein wouldn't do that, didn't do that in his life, you see.